Let's talk AutoCalc. Today we will take a look at 5 different pagination methods. It will be the non-breaking vertical, the measured placement inline, the page-based pagination, the prototype placed inline, and the XY position. All of them except the XY position, you can download a standard demo version of our software and test them for yourself. Let's take a look. Let's start with non-breaking vertical. Non-breaking vertical is our oldest pagination method. It will give you the ability to lay out all the pages you need, and you don't need to think about which page things go in. It will come in the order it's sorted from the data. As you can see, I have 3 columns here named item design, height and width. Of course, they can be named in a different way, but it's important that we have these 3 columns. As an addition, you can add the command, as I have here, where you can state different kind of command to make the software shift from one page to another or from one column to another. Let's go to InDesign. The first thing we will do is to set up our grid. So we will set up a grid 2x4 and 5 mm between them as a gutter is fine. I'll just show you a couple of the design that we are going to use. First of all, we have one having a space of 1 and another one has the space of 2x2. And as we saw in the data, we have some design that's 1x1 and some other ones that have 2x2 of this grid. So the next thing I will do is simply delete whatever I have here, and I will choose to use our AutoCalc function called non-breaking vertical. I click on this one and select the non-breaking vertical here. The next thing I'm doing is going to bottom number 4 in the bottom here, and I will fill out these fields in the top. We have the width of the element and the height. I click the icon here to fill it out, and the item design here, and my command field, I will have it here. The next thing I will do is I can just run it now, or I can save this as a setting. So I call it NBV demo, and next time I can load this settings and everything will be filled out for me. Else I just press the calculate button. Alright, as you can see, all the pages are built. In this case, we have a hole in the design, you can call it. And that's because the next element here did not fit the size. It will be moved to the next page. So this is our total build and I'm quite happy with it. But let's see if we have another way of building the page. Let's take a look at page-based pagination. It lets you build a page in the way you want, and you can call the page itself from the data source. You need a column for the page name, page design name, and also for which page it goes on. Again, let's move to the data and take a look at the columns here where we have page number and page design. Before we go into setting up these 2, I will just show you very fast what a page design are. Just close this one and open up the document again, create the grid, and ask it to create a new page design for me. I have, as you saw before, a number of different sizes of design, and I have decided to make a page where I have a big one on the top and 4 small a little below. So what I'm doing here is I'm deleting those I don't need. I want a big one up here, and I will of course select the design that fits that. And for the lower 4 here, I will take the 1x1, the small design. Now I can save this one as a page design, and my page will be built this way all the time. So if I just save this one and run this process, every page will be the same in the opposite of page
AutoCalc, it will be different kind of pages stated in the data source. Just show you this one so you can see that step and repeat on a predefined will result in a lot of pages built in the same way as long as you have data for it. All right, let's see how AutoCalc with page-based pagination will do it. Again, I open up my design and I need to connect the columns in the data to the design and how we read it. So I will go to the merge marker things, the 6 link panel, and for width and for height I don't need those information, but I surely need the item design. And in this case we'll point to what we call page design here, and I'll change this one. And again, this one does not has a command in it any longer. It needs the page number. So I will click on that and insert that information. Now I can go back and I can select the page-based pagination here. I can save this as my page-based pagination, something like that. And I can just press my calculate button and it will build it using the different kind of statements we have in the data. It will call the right pages at the right time, just like this. As you can see, this page is empty. It's page 6, as you can see. If I scroll down, you can see that the next one that will be added here are the page 9. And that's simply because in the data we are stating which page everything should be built on, and you can see there's a leap between page 5 and page 9, and it will simply skip that pages till it's done.
The next 2 pagination methods are using a text frame, a main frame that will contain the design. The first one we will take a look at are the measured placement inline. It will, as I said, use the text frame as a placeholder for where the item should be. So if it's a bigger item, it will push the next item a little bit further. And if there's no space on the page, it will redirect to the next page and continue on that side.
Measured placement inline. The first thing I will do is shift to my projects, cars, part of the demo package. And I will take a look of the data for it. I have opened it up here. The second column here is an item, and in this case it's just mean that's the design I'm gonna need for my production. So this is the information that I need for measured placement inline. The height and the width, I don't need them for the measured placement simply because it will take the space that actually has the height of the element. So I will go back to my InDesign document and I will open up my template. I will set up a grid. The row is not important here, but the columns are, because we support flowing into multiple columns. So I will set the columns to 1, go to my measured placement, my AutoCalc, and select the measured placement here, inline. And I will go to this one and connect the information. I already have it here, I can see, but I will select it so you can see that it will insert this information. You can use a command to make it force, for instance, a page shift or a column shift. In this case we don't need it, so I will simply have this item. I will save this one as MP demo, run that process. Here we have it, and as you can see we have all the element placed here. And one of the benefit of the measured placement inline is that if you're making the main frame, text frame where it's anchored to smaller, it will reflow, and you can actually see it will reflow from one page to another page, as you can see here. If I do it very slowly, you can see the flow from one page to another. One of the other thing that you should know is that you can use live merge for changing one design to another one. So if you, for instance, have this car here and you want it to be a bigger one, if you can click on the shift key on your keyboard and click on the design here, it will change from one design to another design, and again everything is refloated.
Now for the prototype based pagination. It will copy everything from one text box into the main text box, meaning that your design needs to cover everything inside a text frame, because it will be copied from that frame to the main one. That makes it possible to make break in a long running text, or a table can also be broken into multiple pages.
And the prototype simply meaning that we will use the contents of a design and move it to the main frame after we have merged into it. First of all, the data. It's the auction I'm using here, and as you can see we have a lot of information, but to be honest there are no information about the item design that should be used in this production. We will actually use just one, and I will hard code it in, but you'd still use the AutoCalc function that will make sure it will flow from page to page. So I will just change my project to the auction here. I will open my template here, and just to make sure that you can see what kind of information I got in the design, I'll show you the design. Because the design itself has all this information, even have an image, but everything is within a standard text frame. All this information that will be merged into them, images will be placed, and it will be put into the main frame, so we can have, you know, text flowing from one page to another one. It's very, very easy. I already have created the auction inline here. I'll just go, and so you can see that I have hard-coded informations of the element to this one. I have also make sure that a new design always starts at the top of the element, simply by forcing a new element to be on the next top page. So I'm cheating a little bit here, but it's doable and workable way to do it, and I will show you how it looked like. Another thing is that I actually are on page 2 in this document, so I can have a front page. So if you just position yourself on the page you want to start from, that would be okay. And now I'll have this design, and as you can see, my text is flowing from one page to another one. And of course all the designs start at the top of the page, because I want it to be that way.
The last AutoCalc method I will show you today are the XY position.
Projects. Let's take a look at the data. I've opened it up here, and as you can see I have a page number, and I'm calling it column and row here, but it could be of course X and Y. And the item design is also an information here. I don't have any real data in it, so in this case it's just a matter of showing that we can position elements in the right coordinates on a given page. So what I'm doing is I'm going in and open up my point code table, put in some measurement for 0 point on the page. That's as always in our software within the margins of the page. The only thing I need to do is actually to go in and select the information that will go into this one. And I have already created a small calculation method, so I will just select this one, and it will fill everything out for me, the page row and the column, the item design, and of course the number, all the 4 elements that we have here. And all I have to do is simply by pressing the calc button, and everything will be positioned exactly where I want it to be. And this one is number 10, and it can actually go from one page to another page and scroll the document and select whatever it is. As you can see here, we have a couple of elements, I think 3 elements on page 1. So we could go in and say, what do we have here? 1, 2, 3, and everything is positioned in this coordinate. There's a lot of pages suddenly in this document because the record 7 here, or 6 as it is, will scroll to 61. And as you can see, if I zoom a little bit out here, we have this page, and that is our page 60, I believe, and then it will be positioned on that given page. All right, let's wrap this up. 5 different pagination methods in a short while. Try it for yourself, download the demo version today. Thank you.